Afternoon, lovely ladies and gentlemen. Those of you lurking in the background, they're on. So we are doing crochet today. So we're going to do this block here. I don't know whether you can see it. I can see it. It's supposed to be 3D. It's supposed to look, you know, if you squint at it, you can see roughly. It's very difficult when it's just 4 block. I think once it's a blanket and it's on the settee, it will look more 3D. The pictures on Pinterest and everything, they look great. It's quite an easy block. All you need to know is how to make a granny square. So all you need is trebles. And we're doing crochet today because Sarah takes her big machine with her, and it's just easier than me trying to remember how to use another machine. That's all. So we're going to do crochet. So how are you all? Hiya, Kate and Claire. Hi, Claire. Are you all ready for? You're coming for the Tough Hit, aren't you? So we've got the Tough Hit not this weekend. Next weekend, I'm axe throwing this weekend. So when you come to the Tough Hit, you need to be well behaved because I'll know how to throw an axe. Last time I went axe throwing, I managed to hit the wall 1 out of 3 because you get 3 throws. So I was able to hit it 1 out of 3, which means that if I was in a zombie attack, I could kill 1 out of 3 zombies. However, somebody did point out, why am I throwing my axes away? So I think I'm going to have to come up with another strategy rather than throwing axes at them. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going axe throwing again. I quite enjoyed it, I have to be honest. So how is everybody? Have you been watching Sarah today? She was on yesterday on Create and Craft Extra, which you could, if you need to watch it again, you can catch it up on YouTube. I think it just find yesterday's. And she was on this morning at 7, and where she had a lot of sellouts, and then again at 11. So we're still waiting for all the results of that to come in. So yeah, busy girl, and it is precipitating it down here. It really is throwing it down. So I hope her drive back from from Peterborough is a lot better than it is out there at the moment. Right, okay, so we are going to make a block. All right, so it's quite simple, she says, before she cocks it up completely. So I'm going to carry on with those colours. They just happen to be the ones that were in my stash from my weather blanket that has sort of come to a stop because I started a corner to corner blanket, which I've now come to a stop because I'm now doing this one. So, but this one will go on hold because I want those others finished. I'm a brilliant starter. I just don't finish very well. So we're just using these colours. If you have a look on Pinterest, there was loads of colours. There was one where they started with a white and then went to the very pale grey. So it gave it more of a graduation, and then they did greys and then into black, and it was quite not startling, effective. It's not the word I'm looking for, but we'll go with it. Right, okay, so where are we going? Yes, she was, it was really good, wasn't it, Kate? She was on fire. So, do you see the teddy bears? I love my teddy bears, but I think there are some left over. So if you're interested, come and see us in the shop sometime next week. And you never know, there might be a few left. So we're going to start this. Hi, Anne, are you feeling any better? I hope so. And Carolyn, I thought I saw Carolyn come in. Right, where am I? I'm going to an overhead. Okay, I noticed that the camera on the overhead is back to front. So you'll find that my squares now comes over this shoulder for me. So I hope it's the right way around for you. Right, we're going to start with a magic circle. Now, if you don't like magic circles, it's fine. I'm cack-handed at magic circles, I have to admit. You could chain 5 and then slip stitch them into a circle and use that, or chain 4, whatever. You're only putting 4 lots of trebles, so there's 16 are going into the hole. So the hole needs to be big enough that you can get 16 stitches in. But this is how I start my magic circle. Hold it in my hand, wrap it round my fingers, and you're going to go under your not your working yarn. Put your working yarn slightly to one side. You're going to pull your working yarn through and loop it up again so that you've locked it. You want like a lock stitch, okay? Like I say, I'm very khaki-handed at this. So we are now going to chain 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Now, whether you use a granny stripe or a granny square, the whole point of the granny is 3 trebles. So we're going to wrap our yarn, we're going to go into the circle, pick up our working yarn and pull it through so that we have 3. And we go 1, 2, pull through 2, okay? And we're going to do it again. Wrap your yarn, put it into the circle, pick up your working yarn, and then pick up your yarn, pull through 2, pick up yarn, pull through 2. Okay, so we now have our first granny treble thingy. We're going to chain 2 and then do 3 more trebles. Like I say, khaki-handed, look at me. So 1, 2, 3, and you're going to chain 2 again. So that's 1. Now, like I say, and that's 2. I just picked up the yarns that were there. I wanted 3 colours that would gradiate, so I've had 3 blues. 1, 2, 3, and I thought the yellow would be rather nice as a light in the hole. So I've got 3 groups of 3, so I'm going to put 1 more in there and then we'll close the loop. 1, 2, myself some yarn, 2, 3, and then we're going to chain 2 at the end there, and then we're going to pull this tighter. Okay, so you're pulling your tail end, all right, and you're tightening at that circle. Then we're going to go into the top of our chain 3 there, pick up your working yarn and pull it through, and then you're just going to slip stitch. No, I haven't done that. I have done that with the other yarn. Look at that. That's that one. I want my working yarn. Look at that. So we're going to go in there, pick up your working yarn and slip stitch that, and then you can pull your tail so you get a closed bit in the middle. Now if you've chained 4 and then made a circle, this won't close. You'll have a bigger gap opening, which is why people use the magic circles. Okay, So we now have 4. What's going on there? I've done a loose stitch there. You now have 4. So these are my corners. Okay, these big where I put chain 2, they're my corners. So in each of these, I'm going to put 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles. Then it will be 1 chain and then 3 trebles, 2 chain, 3 trebles, like that. But I want to get over to here, so I'm going to travel, and I'm going to go into my stitch like this. I'm going to pick up my working yarn and pull it through, and I'm not going to make a stitch, I'm just going to go straight through and slip stitch. Okay, so I know I've got 3, so that's 1, 2, that's not going, where's that going? Oh, picked up a bit of yarn there, look. So we're going to go in there, pull it through, and I'm going to go through into the stitch, slip stitch, and then there's 1 more there. No, I've just done that there. And then I'm going to go into my chain space, pull up my working yarn, and then I'm just going to put that slip stitch there, and then I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, which becomes my first treble. Okay, so we want to put 2 more trebles in there, like that, and one like that. So I now have my 3 trebles. I'm going to chain 2 because it'll be a corner, and then in the same chain space I'm putting in another 3 trebles, which makes whatever you're working, each time you put it into a corner, you want to have that configuration. Okay, even as your square grows, each time you go into a corner, you want to make sure that there are 2 lots of 3 going into that corner, because it increases, it makes your corner grow, it makes your square grow. So I'm jumping through to the next corner, so I just need 1 chain. Okay, just to lock it all off, and then we're going to put another 3, 2, 3, chain 2. Yeah, a lot of people are being poorly at the moment. There's I think a virus going around. My mum had it. She wasn't very well at all. Right, 2, 3. So we've put in another corner. I'm going to do 1 chain, and then I'm putting in another corner. To begin with, there's nothing in between because we're just putting our corners in, just increasing. 3, chain 2, 1, 2. So we've been watching, just because this is exactly the same as what I've already done, we've been watching The Last of Us. So I finally got round to it. I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy it. I have to be honest. I'm not one of these. I love an end of days movie. I will admit that. I love, Armageddon type things. But I don't do zombies. And I thought, ooh, I'm not sure I can do this. But it's actually not all about that. It's about surviving a pandemic, really. So just remember, should the last of days happen, White Gecko will deliver locally. Right, so we have got our 4 corners. Okay, so I'm going to, because I'm going across this one, I'm going to put in another chain, and then I'm going into the top of my original chain. Yeah. And I'm putting a slip stitch just to close it all off. Now that's it for our yellow. Okay, that is completely it for our yellow. So I'm just going to pull this. Now, you could put your ends in as you go, but time restraint, I'm just going to carry on, okay? Now you can see from this, you can see from this one that the next 3 rows, 3 colours, they only go on 2 sides, okay? So we're going to start at one corner, work our way over down to another, do a corner, go down to the 3rd corner, but you leave these 2 sides free as we go. Okay, so where's my hook? So I'm going to start in this corner and go around. All right. Now, there are plenty of ways to join your wool. This is just the one that I use. Okay, this is just the one I use because I found it makes sense to me. All right, so I'm going to go through. I'm going to hook my yarn and pull it through my hole. Then I'm going to pick up both lots of yarn, but I'm going to find my tail yarn and continue that one through. Okay, that's just how I found it's easier for me, and it's locked now. I've tried all sorts of ways, but this one stays stable for me. So we're going to carry on with our trebles. So we're going to make a treble. So we're going to 1, 2, 3. So that's our first in my cluster, in my granny cluster. So we're going to put 2 more trebles in this one alone. Okay, so we now have our treble cluster. Now here's my corner. This one is my growing point. Okay, so I need to put 3 grannies, a granny cluster of 3 in there. So, but because it's not a corner, I only want to put 1 chain. So I've done a cluster, 1 chain, and I'm going to put 3 trebles in there. Now I've tried travelling this the yellow yarn as I go, but it just doesn't work, and I've ended up pulling it out. So just make sure that it's in place. Oh, nice nice little thing. That's all right, Jean. You're not late. You can always catch up. Right, so I'm travelling, so I just need 1 chain to lock that cluster together, and then we're going to go in here, and this is a corner, so we're going to put in a cluster of 3 trebles, 2 chains, and then another cluster of 3 trebles in the corner, like that. So 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3. And you've got my ET finger. Oh no! Growing there. Right, so we want a 1 stitch there and there. So I don't know whether you saw Sarah on Tuesday when she was coming from Keir Smith Towers. 1, 2, 3. She was. She told us that we are doing another retreat. So it's going to follow on from our November retreat, and we are going to then do the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So if anybody is interested, just log your interest with us. It's $395 for a single occupancy or $355 for a double occupancy. So, but you can put your name down. There'll be another one in April and another one the following November. You can always put your names down. Right. So I've done a corner. I've done my travel, my extra one here. Now this is a corner, but we're only going to put one in here. All right, because that is the end of our two-sided crochet. And then what we're going to do is we will turn our work and do 3 chains to lift our work, and then we're going to go into our hole here, and you can see that we've grown from no side hole to 1 side hole to 2 side holes. I don't know whether I'm making any sense whatsoever to anybody. With any luck, people will want to give it a go. It's really effective. Put in the 3D crochet blanket, and this will be one of the patterns that comes up. And I have saved it and saved it in different guises for ages. So I've chained 1. We're going to put another 3 in there. So we're working with English trebles, which are American doubles. And we're going to 1 chain there to travel us through to the corner, and then we're going to put in a corner. So we want 2 clusters with adjoining 2 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 2. It's nice because you only have to learn to count to 3, so even Linda can do this one. We've got her from 2 to 3 now. When she first started, she could only count to 2. And 1 chain to travel, and then we're going to put in our 2 here. So 1, a cluster here. Josh is cooking and it smells amazing. There's a linking one there, and then we're going into here like this. 2, 3. Now you can see I'm quite a loose crocheter. If you did this in cotton or took your time, you'd probably get a tighter one. Right, so we have this 3 here. We want to end with the one chain at the end, okay, or the 1 stitch at the end, so that we're creating this stitch here to put our next round in. Okay, so I'm going to go into the top of my starting chain like that. Okay, or you could just stick it, because it's very forgiving, this, stick it into the hole between and lift it like that. Okay, so you've ended up with just growing our square but out that way. All right, so you start off with a cluster on the first round, then as you come back and go back round, you're starting with 1 stitch and then a cluster. So you're always putting a cluster into the hole. All right, so because this is the last stitch in this colour, you're going to, let's do that again so I explain it properly. You're going to yarn over, you're going in, you're going to start your treble, you're going to go through for the first stitch, but the second stitch you're going to put your next colour in. I've got to find the end for this. Is that the end? This is the end. I'm going to go with that end. And then you're going to finish that last stitch, that last bit of the stitch, with your new colour, like that. Okay. And then you're going to turn your work. I wonder whether that would work doing the same as before. I'm never sure. No, that's not worked. You're going to do your 3 chain. Might be why it always looks a bit loose on the end. Need to look that up. 1, 2, 3 chain, and then we've got this hole here that we've left. We're going to put that into there. 1, and you're going to 2, because you've done your 3, your chain 3 to grow your stitch is the first treble. Okay, so what's going on? Stern words, what am I doing? I can't see where Linda is having stern words with me. I've missed that bit. So we are putting 3 along the sides now instead of as we grow each time. 3, 2, 3, and then into the corner again. See, I didn't have time to do step-ups last night, I'm afraid. Oh, have I done a... because this is going to be a little boring. Colours are very pretty. Yes, I think the pale blue is cloud blue with the special DK. The one I'm using at the moment is Aster, and then the next one is Lapis. They are beautiful colours. I do like their blues. So it's 3, chain 2, and then we're going into here. Now this would be a nice project because, I mean, like my corner to corner, I want it to fit on the bed. So it's going to be big, and it's going to be too big to carry around. But you could roll off a little bit of wool for each one of these. And you could pop these in your bag because they wouldn't be, you wouldn't need to carry around a large amount of work. It's not always the amount of wool that you've got to carry that's the problem. It's the size of your work. So if you're doing a big blanket, you can't really carry that around. But if you're doing granny squares, it's a lot easier to pop a couple in your bag. Right, I'm going in and doing the last one here. I had problems learning how to do this. I kept forgetting that I was only doing it on 2 sides. I don't know what's going on here. Ah, I see. I've gone from the end. Right, so 1, 2, 3. There we go, like that. Now we're going to turn our work and we're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3. And then you should really put in another one for your chain. And then we're going to carry on in putting our clusters into our holes. Yes, Jean, you said about the price going up. I'm not sure how that's working. It is something under discussion, so we shall get back to you on that. Which way am I going? That way. So we're going to put in, I've put in a chain, and we're putting another 3 there. 2, 3. So what are you lot all watching on the telly at the moment? Do you binge watch, or do you like things that you watch weekly? We tend to hang on until they're all on there because we're binge watchers. In fact, we're really bad at going to bed early because it just goes into the next one, the next one. 2, 3, chain 2, 1, 2, 3, chain 1, and then go into this hole here. Oh yes, I said Linda could only count to 3. Yes, I mean she might be able to count further, but you don't need to with this one. As long as you can count to 3, you can do this pattern. I find I forget to count how many stitches are in the row, but I count as I go in. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. There we go. So we are coming to the end of this colour now. Can you see how quick? I mean, I crochet at about half the speed of Sarah. Oh, I need to finish that one, that last stitch. I'm going to finish with our darker one, which I'm using lapis. Now I know that I put and try to work from the middle of the ball. I do like to wind mine off into a cake, but don't always work. So does it work if I lock it on this one? Which one's my chain? I think I'm going to have to ask Sarah how I should do this. I forget. Right, so we've got 1, 2, 3 and 1, and we are going, no, we don't need 1 extra, so you're going to chain 3 and then you're going straight into the hole which is there, and this is our last growing 3D effect one. Okay, so I'll go as quick as I can with this one. You record a lot of programs. Oh, you watch some things together and some separately. Yeah, Dave watches things at lunchtime. He watches things like Narcos and 6 and Ackley Bridge he really enjoyed. I have to be honest, he liked Ackley Bridge, and then there was a supermarket one, but they're really not up my street, so I leave him to it. I don't like things like Narcos. The story was okay, but a lot of it was in Spanish with subtitles, and when you're crocheting or sewing or something, you've got to watch it if it's in subtitles, so I don't tend to watch them anymore. I'm still working my way back through Supernatural. I do love my boys. When's the next sewing bee start? I don't know. Does anybody know? They've started advertising it, so it can't be long at all. I mean, we enjoy things like that. There's another one that's called Glow Up. We watched that, and one which was all makeup, done the same way, you know, eliminations every week, and also one called All That Glitters, which is jewelry. I love that. Absolutely love that. I mean, not everybody has the same taste as me, and you look at it and you think, oh, it's awful. I wouldn't buy that. But then everybody likes something different, don't they? So we're coming to the end of our first lapis one, and then we are going to go up to the last one. There we go. So you've got that one. We're going to go up 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do one extra for our chain, and we're going to put it, our first cluster, into the first hole. 2, 3 times it. Right, so you would continue the way I have, okay, all the way round to here, and then lob it off. I would then put all my ends in, okay. Ends are something that worries people. Let's just do this. This one in the middle, I would continue to go around in here, okay. I would continue to go through and just take it through a couple of these and then chop it off, okay, like this. Take it round a bit and then chop it off like that. These ends, I tend to leave a little longer tail than this. For this one, I would follow down. Can we see this? I would try and follow down in the stitches, okay, so that you're mimicking how the stitches are, where the yarn goes in your stitches, until I get to the one where they're all going around the row below. I then go in here like this, like that, and then go back on myself and hope that it locks. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And you have to hope that as you go back through, you've gone down a different path. See, and it's locked. It hasn't come back out, and then I lob it off there. That's how I do my ends. Okay. It's probably better not on. It's easier with the granny squares to follow your lines up here, your stitches up here, because you're only using the gaps. But if you're going to add something which is going into each of these stitches, you don't want to muddy that water. So I would stay away from the edge. Right, we're going to assume that we've gone all the way around with that one. Okay. And I'm going to chop this off here. So you can see that we would have done another row. All right. Now with the outside, I've used the silver because I didn't have a white at home. We now have white in the shop if you do want some. And there was a lady that was in looking for midnight the other day, and we've got that in as well, I think. Right, so you are now just going to granny stitch it all the way round. This time you are going all the way round so that it gives you a border. You know, like in quilting, when you put your sashing in, it's just going to give you the sashing. Then you're stitching together. You're going to put your edges together like that. Don't do what I did and do it upside down. And you're going to pick up with an extra with some wool yarn. You're going to go in on your corner. You have 2 chain stitches. You're going to go in the back loop of your second chain stitch, attach it, like this. No, like that one. That's the short one. Okay, so we're going to attach it, and then you're going to pick up the second chain stitch there. You're going to pick up the front loop, all right, and then you're going to slip stitch like that. Then you're going to go along a stitch, pick up the back loop. So we're in the first stitch, so you want the front loop of your first stitch on the other side. You're going to pull it through and pull it through. Again, there are loads of different ways of sewing things together. This one seems to leave a ridge, but this is the one I learned last night. And you're just going to pick them up like this. I'm sure if I block it, it would work. Okay, so that when it's opened, you have a little chain like that. So you end up with a chain going between them. And that's it. That's all I've got for you today. So you would just keep going. You would do another row on of your darkest colour, okay, and then put your border all the way round, and then sew them together. Easy. Now go forth and create blankets. I want lots of blankets. We could. I don't know what it would be like if they were all different colours. So we will, I'm not sure what it would be like if they were all different colours. So we shall see how you get on. Please post anything that you make crochet wise that we're doing. So have a look at that. Right, I'm going back to packing. I'm going to go and have my lunch, and then Linda and I are back to packing. So we shall see you next week. Sean will put a post up telling you what we're going to get up to next week, and I will talk to you soon. Take care, lovelies. Bye.